Hello gentlemen, welcome back to this men's Colognes channel. Today I've got a spring niche fragrance list for you, so let's get going and let's get you smelling awesome. Excuse the little plaster, I've cut myself cooking. So the first fragrance that I want to show you is the new Parfums de Marly Perseus, I don't know how you pronounce it, but the fragrance is great. It is one of those fragrances that is super citrusy and super fresh, slightly bitter and green. It actually reminds me of some facets of Oud for Happiness from Initio, but then it settles to this like very clean laundry smell. And this scent, when I tested it on my skin, because I always like to test the fragrances that I recommend to you on my skin and then on my husband, and I became like completely nose and nosemic to it, so I couldn't smell it past like the 2 hours, but on my husband I could totally smell him for hours. And after that initial freshness, you get left with this really clean smelling, this addictive quality to this fragrance. It's absolutely great. This fragrance is super great for every day. When you look at the notes, you think this will be like a citrus bomb. It's not really. It's like this musky, clean smell that you get a burst of citruses at the top, but not for long, and I love it for that. I actually think it makes it more unique, and I absolutely love the scent trail this leaves on a guy. Like, I don't think I've smelled anything like this on my husband, like that sort of scent profile that leaves like a huge trail behind him when he wears it for hours. So yeah, great one, great release. Love this one for spring, even for the summertime, because that cleanliness really, like, it's perfect for the summer as well. But if you live in a hot climate, you might want to go for something a bit more citrusy. But yeah, another scent that I would recommend for spring, and I wanted to do a list that would have something for everybody, and this would be the fragrance that is a bit more denser, a bit more darker. And I think if you live in some European countries, and like Scandinavia, I used to live in Scandinavia, you don't get that warm spring that much. You get a bit of rays of sunshine, but it still is pretty cold. This fragrance would be perfect for that. I've got a placement here because I'm not actually going to talk about the Boundless fragrance I've got here, but Amouage Epic Man. That one I would say is a perfect manly fragrance. It smells so gentlemanly, refined, just sexy in this really, really classy way.
I'm Ryan.
It's woody, it's got a bit of incense in there, but it reminds me of one of my favorite fragrances for men, Comme des Garçons Wonderwood, but like amped up and a bit more like assertive, manly, and much better quality ingredients in there. It's absolutely smashing. Like, you just apply it and you smell rich, like you smell like you've got money. It's absolutely insanely like gorgeous with the quality they use. So yeah, go for Epic Man. If you live in a hotter climate maybe and you're experiencing spring weather closer to our European like summer weather, then you might want to use something like this. I adore this scent. I'm obsessed with it, man. This is called Overdose. Firstly, the name Overdose by Oman Luxury, and it's a fragrance that is bright, crisp, smells a bit like ginger beer, but with this like woody dryness in there, but it's still very fresh. The scent trail on this is amazing. It's a powerful, fresh fragrance, which you don't get that often, but man, is it good. I love this because you won't find anything like this in the designer market. Like, people will know you're wearing a niche fragrance. They will know that you love fragrance. It just makes my mouth water. It's so good. You have to try it, at least get a sample of it. I'll link samples for this as well if you want to try it, because maybe it's not like everybody would absolutely go crazy for it, but if you're a guy that would, like, this is just confidence in a bottle. It's so good. Next up, we've got Aqua di Parma's Colonia Pura. This scent is one that is super fresh. So this is a spring/summer, I would say, fragrance. But what I especially love about this one is that it's super fresh. It's got those watery, sparkling notes. It's also got a bit of jasmine, a bit of coriander, a bit of patchouli in there, a bit of orange as well. Actually, orange is quite like pronounced at the beginning of the fragrance. It's such a good quality fragrance. It's, if you love like Dior or Sauvage, that's sort of a classy scent, and you want something that smells a bit different, like you can definitely tell this is a niche level fragrance, and you've got this beautiful juicy orange note in there, then try this one. They've got such great, like, you just smell like you're wearing like a crisp white shirt, going to a meeting, but maybe you're in Milan or somewhere. It just smells fashionable. That's the way I can describe this fragrance. Fashionable, put together guy. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Next up, we've got Spirit of King's Matar fragrance. This is a fragrance that smells like muscles.
It's as satisfying to me as coming is.
Just smells like muscles, like a guy's guy, like a bro, you know? You know those guys, like you look at them, you look how they walk, and I can tell, like, this is like a dude. He's got like a pack of friends, they go out and they're like, yeah, you can just tell this is that guy, very confident, very like, hey, you know, fun times. This is that guy. If you like niche fragrances like this, gorgeous and really, really like masculine. Next up is a niche fragrance that the quality is always there for this brand. If you are a stickler for details, if you're a guy that you can smell artificial notes and you want your fragrance to be like the highest quality, then go no further than this brand, because each and every fragrance I have smelled from them is absolutely amazing. And no, they have never contacted me or anything, but it's Matiere Premiere Cologne Cedrat. This fragrance, I've got a sample of it, and man, I want to get it because I want my husband to wear this. It's the creme de la creme. It's a fresh, tart, citrusy fragrance. It opens up like this super fresh bergamot, lemon. It's one of those fragrances, think like Dior Homme Cologne, but on a whole another level. That's sort of a really refreshing, crisp, zesty fragrance. It's just amazing. Like, I'm telling you, you have to at least sample this. It's absolutely amazing. It's got a nice sweetness to it, but like a fresh, you know, citrusy, natural sweetness, not like vanilla or anything like that. And it's one to wear, I would say, if you're a guy that loves to spend on a fragrance, you love to just smell the best. This fragrance is a no-brainer. It's super easygoing, spring, summer, like anytime. This is an absolutely mind-blowing fragrance. Next up is another woodier cologne than the other one. So this is more of that, you know, the earthy fragrance, and it's Nishane Kredo Extrait de Parfum. This scent is so raw and earthy and a bit mysterious. Think oud wood, but much more smoky, and a bit more going on, a bit more earthy. There's just, it's not as simple as oud wood, but it has got that oud wood quality to it. But man, just smelling it right now, so manly, so sexy. Like, this sort of scent profile for me is sexy everyday cologne for men. So good. The only issue I've got with this one is that you have to reapply it after about 4 hours for me, for this fragrance to be, I think it needs to just be a bit more intense, because I love the intensity of the scent profile. So my advice would be to reapply it. You don't have to, like, you'll still, it's long lasting, but the projection, I would say after 4 hours, like, reapply it, because the power of this fragrance, the head turning quality of it is in the projection, and it's such a good scent. Next up, it is To My Father from Wilhelm Parfumerie. This is the first fragrance from them that I like. So it's one that I had to tell you about because I know that many people are obsessed with the brand, but this is the first one I was like, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. This is much more of an intense scent, I would say, for an average spring list. As I've said, I don't know where you guys live, so some spring climates might be really hot, some might be a bit colder. This is more of that heavier scent. It's got whiskey, bitter orange, it's got Davana, which is one of my favorite notes, a bit of leather as well. It smells like True Detective, like the last season. It kind of reminds me of that vibe, the whole mysterious dark vibe, like they're in the middle of like a snowstorm, and this is the fragrance that smells like that environment, just like you're going to a bar, you're just passing time, you're drinking whiskey. It's got an incredibly nostalgic feeling while still having a bit of freshness in there, if that makes sense. It's such an intriguing fragrance. I totally recommend you at least sample it, because it's one that is like, oh, I've never smelled anything like this before, and it's a really fun one. If you enjoy boozy scents and you want something that is still like just got that but it's a bit lighter, it's not going to that fully like winter syrupy sort of place, then this one is a keeper. This list couldn't be made without at least one creed, okay? Like, come on. I love my creeds for men, and this new Absolute Aventus is to die for. I don't care what anybody says, I love this scent. It's so manly. Like, I could just melt here on the spot just smelling it. Like, you just can't say that this fragrance is not like one of the most just exciting and manly fragrances in the world. It's so good. I love this version just because Creed Aventus is so duped. This has got enough of it to be a bit different. It smells a bit more classy to me, which is attractive to me personally. I love that, a bit of class in a fragrance. If you're a big Creed Aventus fan, then you have to get a big bottle of this. Next up, we've got a Mizensir fragrance, Paradis, l'envers du Paradis. This fragrance, it's good. This is super fresh, it's musky, it's got pink pepper in there, so it's a bit spicy. This is that sort of fragrance I adore. This is like your all Creed Aventuses, Mont Blanc Explorer. I would put also MFK, Gentle Fluidity, Silver Cup into that category. That fresh woody scent that is so manly, so attractive. And this is made into a niche version, and it's slightly soft. It's got that softness to it, so it's not sharp, attacking, like artificial. No way. This is so great, so sexy. I could just like drown myself in this fragrance. I mean, totally captivating, and it's a great fragrance no matter time of the year, to be honest. But in the springtime, when you want a bit of freshness in your fragrance, you want something that is just great for colder mornings, great for rays of sunshine. This is perfect for transitional men's fragrance. And I guarantee you, this fragrance you can totally blind buy. I 100% will say, like, you all men will absolutely love the scent. You can't go wrong with it. It's so good. And if you want to sample it, I'll also will link like a sampling website for you. Hopefully I can find the scent on there, because Mizensir is a bit harder to get, I know, in the US, but I'll try to my best to link it down there for you. Any discounts I can find for you, I'll always put them down below, because I'm a saver. I love to save money, so I always find those deals for you. So subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.